First, let me say that we're really excited about all the guys getting back. We have had some incidents as of late, and when your players are all out of town, you don't get an opportunity to see them or talk to them or visit with them. So we're always excited about the start of football season, but can't wait to see the guys tonight and get to visit with them because we still haven't had an opportunity to sit down with them. I would like to apologize from our staff, our players, and our coaches to the administration at the University of Texas, the athletic department, our student body, and our fans for the incidents this summer. It's not what we have worked so hard for 9.5 years to portray in our program of class and integrity and character. It is something that we are not proud of, but I can promise you it's also not indicative of who this team really is. This team is as good a group of young men as we've ever coached, and they will continue to move forward after today and prove that on and off the field. So at a time where we have had to answer things outside of football that we're not proud of, I also want to make sure that everybody understands that there's so many great young people on this team that I want them to have a chance to show their class as well. Everybody's back. They will be eating dinner from 4:30 to 5:30. We'll meet at 6:15 as a team and start the season over. We have a great message from Vince Young that John and the SID staff taped last week. So Vince will be our guest speaker tonight at our team meeting, and you'd be very, very proud of him and the message he sends to the team, and so that he will close the meeting tonight as they get ready to break up and start practice tomorrow. The issues with practice are still who's going to be the backup quarterback, and obviously we've been involved from afar this summer, so the kids have all worked together, but it's still a wide open race. Who will be the backup tight end? Who will be the backup tailback? We're hoping that because Jamal's worked so hard this summer and he's gained his weight, he and Colt, that they will have an opportunity to step up and have banner years. Defensively, we're in a position where we've got some older guys and younger guys in the secondary, and some older guys and younger guys in the linebacking core, so we'll just have to separate all those guys, and we still have some issues in the kicking game. Andre Jones's issue will be handled through the legal process. So obviously he has been indefinitely suspended, but that's not something we will deal with until, other than to be cooperative with the legal process and be supportive of him until findings come out. He will not be involved in practice. He will not be involved in our team in any way. The two young men that had the DUI early in the year, Henry Melton and a few weeks ago, Sergio Kindle, will report today. What they will be involved with is community service. They will be involved with a lady who works with Mothers Against Drunk Driving, who had her son who was badly crippled in an accident and then later lost his life very early. So the first few days of practice, these two young men will be sitting down and visiting with her and letting her explain to them how dangerous it is to be in a car when you have been drinking. And again, in any of these cases, we're not the law. We're not saying that they are guilty, but we're also having disciplinary action outside of whatever the legal process would do. They will also do community service for us. They will also do alcohol counseling. They will rejoin the team as soon as they get some of these things done, which could be as early as the middle or the end of the week. But they will miss the first 3 games of the season. They will not dress for those ball games. They will not travel to those ball games, and they will not play in either the Arkansas State, the TCU, or the Central Florida game. And then at that time, I will sit down with both young men and see if we feel like that they have learned from their experience and they are ready to move forward as team members. And we feel like obviously that penalizes our team because they're both really good football players, but with the problems of drunk driving the problems with drugs that we have in society right now, we thought it was a great opportunity for our team to stand up and take a strong stand against both of those actions and help get the attention of not only young people in society but also adults. Also, it's a time where I need to stand up as a head coach and take responsibility for anything that's negative. Be a strong leader, send a strong message, and move forward with our football team. We also have a very difficult thing that's come up with our team over the last week. It's something we will manage. Ken Rucker has prostate cancer. He's here with us today, but he will have an operation on August the 27th, and that will be Monday before our opening game with Arkansas State. Obviously, he will spend time recuperating, so we don't know how long that he'll be away from our football team, but we'll manage it with Greg Davis, Mack McQuarter, and Bruce Chambers, and I will work tight ends and running backs after Ken goes to get his operation at the end of the month. And then from that standpoint, I'm wearing a Live Strong bracelet in his honor today. We will tell our team tonight because we just found out. But we obviously, our thoughts and our prayers are with Ken. We think he'll have a full recovery. He is such a nice and great young man, or coach, that he came to me and said, I want to wait till the end of the season so I can get through the season before we do anything. And obviously that's ridiculous. We're not going to have a guy that has cancer spending time with football when that cancer is in his body. So he does have an operation set up for August 27th, and we will have him, he will practice up until the weekend before the first game. He'll leave our staff at that time to get his operation, and he'll rejoin us when he feels good and when he feels like it. But we appreciate him. Our thoughts and prayers are with him, and I can't believe he's even going to coach for the next month to try to help us. But he's so involved in this running game and getting it straightened out, getting it turned around. He said, I can't back away right now. And proud that he offered to stay for the whole year, but that's not something that we would even consider. And Ken is here somewhere. Ken, why don't you come up just a second and bring a chair if you can and address any questions that they would have for you or for me. I think the other things why Ken is coming up, Jordan Shipley tweaked his hamstring this summer. They think he'll be fine. He may not be full speed to practice starting tomorrow night, but I don't think the doctors and trainers are concerned for the season. They're just concerned about early practice, and he's been around long enough. We do not need him pushing a hamstring early in 2 days. That should be well. And Cedric Dockery, they have released to practice. So both of those young guys should be able to practice some. Jordan not as much as Cedric early. We'll probably have to watch Cedric because of his just his knee coming back into 2 days. If you have any questions for Ken, please ask them, then we can turn him loose, and I'll answer any other questions if you need. Or Ken, if you'll address them just briefly, and then any questions, and let you get to the kids.
Thanks, Coach. As Coach mentioned, found this out about a week ago. With time, I'm going to be fine. Big thing is for me to have the operation on the 27th, and at the same time, before that time, is to instruct and be mentor to the running backs and to our football team. I have a great young head coach here, and Coach Brown, who understands family, and put that before anything. But I'm excited about getting started tomorrow, seeing the kids tonight, as Coach mentioned. But appreciate you keeping myself, my family in your prayers.
Ken, one thing that Mack had said was that you had said in a perfect world you would prefer to wait to the end of the season. What did the doctors tell you about timetable and how soon you felt you needed to go ahead and schedule a date?
Well, there's a time within the time that I mentioned or was mentioned that we didn't want to go too far. And I did address this with my doctor and with my doctors. But Coach is right. When you have cancer, you want to get it out. And I want to be strong at the end. We expect a great year, and I want to be there at the end to finish the race.
Ken, was it a regular checkup that you discovered? Or?
Yes, I would suggest when you do have your annual checkup that you check your PSA, because that is important. And it had risen some, and so that's how I found out. But I don't hurt, and that's why you need to have yourself checked.
How's your stamina right now?
It's great. Been working on it every day. As I said, I didn't know I had anything, but I'm fine that way.
What does the doctor expect that the surgery will take care of it, or we need treatment beyond that?
No, we believe that it will be completely taken out, and it's isolated right now in the prostate, and that's a good thing. And feel like I will be fully recovered.
What's your plan to be back this season?
No doubt about it. 100%.
How long did the doctor expect the recovery to take after the surgery?
It really depends on me. I believe in the history has shown that I can walk out of the hospital in 2 days, but then it depends on me and my stamina. And but I've got a great mindset and plan to be back sooner than expected. But it's really up to me.
Any other questions for Ken?
The players don't know yet.
No, in fact, it is fine. We just told a few that we're going to dinner. We will let Ken address the team tonight, like he is you all. We felt like that, Ken and I both felt like that people needed to see that he was okay and understand that the word cancer is such an awful word in our lives, but that he is positive, he feels good. He is going to get it fixed, and also, I'm not speaking for Ken, he wants to be a great role model for those that have cancer and show them you can get it and be in the public eye, but you can also handle it and you can move forward. And if that's fair, I think.
It is fair, Coach.
And he will explain it to the kids tonight, and then we'll just work over the next part of a month to make sure that we've handled his duties, because he's really concerned about that. We're not really sure everything we'll do right now, but we'll get it all worked out, and that'll be the minor part of this. And then we have assured Ken that our job will be to try to keep him from coming back too soon, because he'll be wanting back out there way too quickly, and it's going to be hot, and it'll be mid-season before that opportunity arises. So our job will be to make sure he is well, and hopefully at the end of the year, football will take care of itself. But we want Ken Rucker go into a bowl game. So that's what we're looking forward to. Anything else for Ken? And I'll let you go tell the kids.
Thanks, Coach.
The question was, is everybody else ready to go based on their physical part? And I would think Jordan will be limited. Cedric may or may not, because usually our routine has been when you have a knee operation within a year, you don't go through both sets of two-a-days, so we may limit Cedric some, but that'll just be based on what we see of him at practice. But I think everybody else will be ready to go.
No clearinghouse issues?
No. Everybody's in school and ready to go. We think everybody's okay with summer school, but obviously we have another, usually about the 10th or 12th or something before summer school's finished. But we're really, in fact, ironically enough, over the last 10 days in the summer, we're in the best shape academically we've ever been for a Texas football team. So there's some good news there too.
Coach, how disappointed, shocked, I guess, were you once you started hearing, all this arrest? And
Well, disappointed would be the word. When you look at your responsibilities as a head coach, the first thing you're disappointed are for the parents. I'm a parent of 4 children, and Sally and I. Nothing hurts you worse if you have children than to see your children make a poor decision, or to see your children in pain. So that's the worst thing, and then obviously it grows to a bigger magnitude. We have all, and I specifically take tremendous pride in talking about how great our kids are and how much class we win with, and who we are and what we do. And anytime there is an incident, regardless if it's 1 or 4 or how bad it is, it hurts the University of Texas, and I'm responsible for that. So it's my job to step up and make sure that we discipline in the proper way. Some of the things are out of my control, and if they get back to me, I'll make decisions, but I also want to make sure we all understand that kids are never guilty until the end of the legal process. There have been a lot of situations happened over the last couple of years in sports where kids, we have all probably talked so much about someone being guilty and then the charges were dropped. So we all have to make sure that we're fair as we can be at a time where there's a tremendous amount of pressure on some family and kids, and still at the same time I have a responsibility to a lot of other kids to go move forward today and start working toward practice tomorrow, and so I just have to really departmentalize those issues and deal with the personal issues of the 3 kids that are still on our team. We're dealing with the 2 that are on our team, the other one's suspended. We'll deal with that when he gets through the legal process, but I also have a responsibility to a bunch of coaches, a bunch of fans, a lot of administrators, and a lot of other kids, and a coach that's sick. So I got a full plate now, and it's time for me to step up and be strong and handle it like a man and move forward and do the things that we're supposed to do. We have always told our kids we're the most scrutinized or among the most scrutinized programs in the country. And if you're going to do something wrong in our program, it will be public. And I think that's a good thing. Because if you're doing something wrong, it should be public, and you should be penalized for it. And that's all we can do.
Coach, do you feel like your policy is going to change in the future, maybe to keep this from happening? Will there be for sure penalties now?
I just gave the 2 harshest penalties I've given, in other than cutting a scholarship, which I did earlier in the summer. So they've already changed. We have a 0 tolerance policy. We had it this summer, and that's one of the reasons that young guys are missing 3 games for a DUI instead of in the past where they might have missed 1. We're sending a very, very strong message. And as I said, the large majority are listening. The few that aren't will be disciplined and punished, and we'll move forward.
Coach, is this type of stuff, is this tougher on you than the on-the-field stuff, where like last year when you looked for a starting quarterback?
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
like that?
No. This is tougher on me personally, Mike, because it affects kids' lives. You know, somebody asked if it affected my reputation. I've been around a long time. I've been doing this 33 years, so I'm not worried about me. It's not about me. It's not even about our team. It's about young people who make poor decisions. And if you talk about the drugs and alcohol, we have a real problem, in my estimation, nationally, with especially young people. But it's not limited to young people. And I think we all need to really take a hard look at drugs and alcohol, and when we have an opportunity to make a strong statement, we need to make one. The other arrest, you know, if somebody messes up, if they did the things they're being charged with, then the legal system handles that. But I think when I became a parent, it probably changed my life more than anything, because God, you love your children, and if you love your children, my dad said when he died that I said, "Dad, are you happy?" And he lived about 3 weeks longer, and he said, "Yes, I got 3 happy and healthy children, and you're only as happy or healthy as your most unhappy or unhealthy child." And I'll never forget my dad making that statement. When he did, that stuck with me for the rest of my life. So it's really important.
Have you talked to Andre at all?
I have not. Cleve Bryant has, because he handles when he's talking to people. He's talked to him since day one when the arrest warrant was out. But I'm not going to get into anything else about that, because it's already been over talked about. We'll let the legal process. I'd rather talk about our team and move forward today.
Mack, this has been your toughest off season?
You know, 33 years, Jim, I've had a bunch of tough off seasons, and I'd have to go back and look at all of them. But I've spent more time lately thinking about things other than football in the last 10 days, and I'd rather get back to football.
That being the case, are you more excited about the start of training camp, getting everything done on the field?
I'm sorry, I missed it.
Are you more excited about getting all the?
Well, I'm not more excited. This will be 23rd, 24th year as a head coach. 23 as a head coach, and I really don't think I've ever been excited about a season. And part of it's because we have so many things that have to get done on the field. We've got some inexperience in areas. We've got some depth issues in areas. We haven't had that lately. So coaching is probably more important right now on the field than at any time. And anytime you have an off-the-field incident, it gives me a chance to stand up and be strong. I'll never forget that when Cole Pittman died, that was the worst day of my coaching life, when I got that call from the when I got the call from the Highway Patrol, and they thought they had identified Cole, but they wanted us to send a picture. And from the time we sent the picture to the time it got to the funeral home or the police station, wherever they were, and then get the call, and then I had to call his dad and talk to him. That's the worst day of my sporting life. And I'll never forget the day that we were going to the funeral, and I told Sally this was the worst day that you could ever possibly be a head football coach. And she looked me dead in the eye, and it was so true. She said, no, this is the best day that you could ever be a head football coach, because you can step up strong and have an influence and help all the people today that are really, really struggling in the Cole Pittman situation. And incidents aren't to be compared to life and death. Incidents aren't even to be compared to cancer. I mean, because those are very, very serious physical situations for people. But even with the incidents, it gives me a chance, as disappointed as I am, to take a great stand and step up and be strong. And if there are anything that we can go back and look at that we need to be doing better than we are, it's a great time to start over. And there'll be we probably won't need the message tonight to our team. You all have already sent it over and over and over and over again, because it is unbelievable how much attention that one young man that gets in trouble at the University of Texas can get nationally, not locally. But that's who we are. That's the life we live. And if someone's accused of something, then they have to stand up to that. But it's also a great time for me to step up as a head football coach and be strong and make tough decisions and send a great message out there, not only to our players, but players across the country, and especially young people that are playing sports that want to be at the University of Texas. If somebody messes up a chance to be at the University of Texas, what an awful opportunity they passed up, and there will be some other people that are ready to step up and take that opportunity.
Do you sense that frustration within the team, the players that are doing things right, that their teammates are messing up?
It was funny, I talked to a number of our NFL guys last spring when there were some issues with the NFL and their policies, and all of them said, what a shame, there's so many great people in the NFL that the actions of a few get all the attention. It was just unbelievable that they felt bad. So I'm sure that our guys would rather talk about the season and talk about how much the chemistry's improved and how much the hard work this summer, looking forward to the start of the season, instead of something that they were not involved with. Our team is punished by negative publicity, and our team is punished by young guys who will no longer be playing. But to punish someone personally for a team issue is pretty unfair too.
And some of your guys talked in media days about forming that leadership council, the veterans, maybe not getting to know the younger players as well as they could have last year. Do you think there's any, tie-in that if there was better leadership or chemistry last year, maybe some of the stuff would have been avoided?
No, I really don't. It seems like, for whatever reason, after you win a national championship, whoever it is, for the last 5 or 6 years, more stuff comes up. I don't understand that. I was always told that. I don't understand, but most of our issues have been with younger players that were not on the national championship team, and that's why our slogan for the year is going to be earn the right, because some people seem to be taking advantage of being at the University of Texas on a great team without taking advantage in the right way. So it's my job to make sure that the guys that are playing have earned that right, and they've earned it through hard work and class and character, and that we don't have people representing us that have taken shortcuts. I think we have great leadership on this team right now, and even after Henry's incident early in the year, our guys really stepped up and started talking to all the younger guys. It is more difficult now because you've got such an early process in recruiting. We're probably not getting to know the guys as well as we used to, because you're recruiting guys now that are sophomores and juniors and committing them way early. And the second thing is we're having freshmen come to summer school, and our coaches can't be around them, and there's a lot of free time. So those are two issues we've really, really got to look at and make sure that and most of our players live off campus. The younger ones live on campus, so they're really not around each other that much. So that's all stuff we've just got to look at. But we've had a great record for a long time, and as serious as the incidents were this summer, as disappointed as we are in them, we're not going to hold it against all the guys who have done everything right for so long in this program and make them feel bad, or start doing things that we feel like they've done right for 4 years.
Let's take a couple of football questions if you have them, and then Coach will be finished, and we'll break to the players down here. Anybody got anything on specifically football?
Mac, how much do you learn in the first couple of days, or is it simply a chance to get to the the third and fourth day when you start learning about these guys?
It's a great question, Roger. We think first we learn who's in shape. We can't even ask Jeff Madden. He can't sit down with us and tell us who's made every workout this summer and who's because of NCAA rules, and we're very protective of that rule. So it'll be obvious tomorrow night who looks good, who is not tired at the end of a 2-hour practice. The second thing we learn is the freshmen. It's so different now because the freshmen have been here since June 1st, but we don't know them. We haven't been around them. I just barely got to meet them when they came in, and I haven't seen any of them do anything. So watching them work with the other guys will be really interesting to see if he looks like he's the guy we thought we signed, and if he fits in this group, and just start forming that opinion tomorrow night. And then thirdly, you can't tell about the chemistry of a team on a first or second night, but usually by the end of the week when it gets hot and they're tired after a couple of days, you can see who's going to step up and be a great leader. Most of the time when you have a very difficult thing happen in your program like we have this summer, it helps your leadership, it helps your chemistry, it makes everybody understand what zero tolerance means, and that if they don't act right, they'll lose an opportunity to play. So normally we'll have a bunch excited about getting on the field tomorrow and having a really good practice.
One more question.
Kurt?
Do you think you're a top 5 team going into the season?
I don't think anybody is, Kirk. The question was, do I think we're a top 5 team? I still despise preseason polls. All we're doing to me is talking about who finished well in the bowl games and has the most guys back. And to me, we've got way too many question marks. I like the way we finished. None of us were proud of the last 2 games before the bowl game. But to me, we potentially can win all the games. But we also can be very average. And I'm seeing now that so much of that has to develop within the team throughout summer, throughout 2-a-days, and into the early problems you're going to have. For probably the last 6 or 7 years, our season has come down between winning 10 games or winning 13 games based on about 3 games in the fourth quarter where we had to make plays. When we made those plays, we won all the games. When we made some of them, we won 11. When we didn't make as many as we wanted to, we won 10. But it always comes down to you're in trouble somewhere. Last 2 times we've been to Stillwater, we've been in trouble. And in the last one, in bad trouble. The one before that, we're just in trouble. I think we were down maybe 16-0. But and then we went to Kansas, we got in trouble. We were Kansas State, we got in trouble. So, and it's been funny that it's been the teams the last few years that we didn't expect would be trouble when the season started. So I think anybody that thinks they can sit and predict their season in preseason just doesn't know enough about it.
Did you put yourself in the top 5? I mean, you vote, right?
I don't talk about our vote. And I discussed that before.
I always try to give you
I know you do, Kurt. You're going to catch me as I'm getting older. It was really interesting last year, and it's why I understand why you all quit voting. Is I didn't know whether to vote for Michigan or Florida. I really didn't. And I ended up voting for one, calling Watson, telling him to vote for the other, so we'd get a split, so it wouldn't matter. But I really didn't know. I thought if Michigan had lost early in the year, it wouldn't have been any question probably because they had a great team. But the fact that Florida won in a late game on national TV and Michigan lost in a late game on national TV, so I'm having trouble even figuring out who the best teams are at the end of the season, so I'm sure not going to start going to the beginning.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, folks.
Thanks, guys.